NIL and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you're winning ball games that you're supposed to win, that you're favored to win, Kentucky as a whole will support you. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, once we got to that plateau of the second 10-win season, players coming back, some expectations, we haven't lived. Now, that means that some fans have kind of backed off and they're not quite as ecstatic. Matter of fact, last year, over time, sometimes last season, there was some talk that it was maybe time for Stoops to go somewhere else. So then in that season, Levis got hurt, missed a few games, a game or two, played hurt, and they lost in a bowl game, which they all set out 20-0 to Iowa, who they beat the year before. And then they come back last year, not quite the expectations, but still people thought they could win 8-9 games. And they come back last year. They lose to South Carolina again, a 5-7 South Carolina team, nonetheless. And they are losing some games that they're favored in and expected to win over the last two seasons. If you're winning those games, Mark, then the fans will be a whole lot more excited to give and to donate to the NIL. So, there are ways to do that for fans. Club Blue, Club 15. There are ways to do that. And I know that fans will run out to do that when Kentucky is taking it to another level. There is one more step that Stoops has not been able to do, and he's talking about taking Kentucky to another level. There is another step here that must be taken if you want Kentucky fans to get excited again and as a brand be able to go in the NIL world and take it to another level. And that's this, Mark. You absolutely have to start winning some games that you're not supposed to, some games that you're not favored in, some games that are tough against good opponents, winning opponents. Now, I don't know the exact number, guys, but I can tell you this. I saw that Kentucky over the last 6-8 years, maybe his entire tenure, I know the first few years shouldn't count because they were in a rebuild. But let's say over the last 6-8 years, Mark Stoops has only won 2 SEC games with a winning record. 2. That's it. So let's just call it 2-20 or 2-25 over the last, 2-26 over the last 4 years or whatever, because he played 80 a season, SEC games. Now, I mean, not all of those are against ranked teams. I get it. I'm not exactly sure what the overall record is, but 2 wins is not enough. Not in any book, not in any way, not in any shape, not in any form. 2 wins is not enough. So here's the deal. If you want to not have to be a fundraiser in order to stay afloat in this changed landscape of college football, here's the deal. 1, you have to win the games you're supposed to win. 2, you have got to start figuring out a way to compete and complete wins against games and teams that you're not favored in, that are good teams that have a winning record, maybe even a ranked team, including ranked teams. You have to win some of those games. I'm not saying that I am a blowhard here and that you've got to win 80, 90% of them games. I'm not even saying that you have to win 70% of those games. What I am saying here, guys, is that you absolutely have to start winning 40 to 50% of those games. You have to figure out a way to get the job done and to come home with wins against the likes of Ole Miss and Auburn and Tennessee. You have to find a way to get some wins. So I promise you, Mark, the next level, and most people, fans included, will tell you that they think the next level is for Kentucky to be a top 10 team and to now challenge for the college football playoff every year. That's what a lot of fans expect. That's not the next level. The next level for Kentucky football is to be a top 10 to 20 team consistently. Maybe, if we're lucky, we sneak into the new 12-team playoff occasionally, if we're lucky. But that's the next level here. The next level is to find a way to be Mississippi or Tennessee under Heupel the last 3 years, or a team of that nature, a team that is in that 10 to 20 range in the rankings, a team that find another way to beat Alabama's for Mississippi, a team that would get in the college football playoff, the 4 team, if they could find a way to win 1 or 2 more big games. Those are that's the next level for Kentucky. The next level is not for Kentucky to be a top 5 or 10 team and challenge to be a top team in the college football playoff year after year after year. The next level for Kentucky is to be a 10, 12 to top 20, 18, 20 team consistently year after year after year. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only way to do that is you have to line up and you have to make the plays that's going to beat a Tennessee and Ole Miss and Auburn on this schedule this year. You look at our schedule this year, and we've got 6 games that we should be favored in and that we should win. You got your 4 non-conference, and I'm including Louisville at home. We should be favored. We should win. Then you have South Carolina and Vandy at home. Absolutely, we should win. Then there are 6 games on the schedule that are top-tier teams, and I'm going to include Auburn in this with Hugh Freeze and the way he's recruiting. And in his second season, Hugh Freeze could easily win 8, 9 games this year. He could easily have at least a 500 record in the SEC this season. So I'm going to include them in this. So we have a home game against Auburn. We have a home game against Georgia. Everybody knows how tough that game's going to be. Most Kentucky fans do not expect to win that game. I don't either. I do expect to be a hell of a lot better for showing at home than we did last year in Athens. I can say that. All right. Then we get Florida, who I'm going to put them in the other column. I'm going to put them in, we have Florida on the road. I don't think Florida is going to be a top team. I think Florida is going to be a bottom tier team in the SEC, and I actually think that's a game that we should go to the Swamp and win. But you have 3 other road games: Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas. And these are the type of games that if you want the fan base to get excited and to want to come out to support, to give their hard-earned money to support you, you have to find a way to win those games. I'm not saying we're 5-1 against these teams. I'm not saying we're 4-2. Hell, I'm not even sure that we can go 3-3. But if you want the fan base to get excited, you got to win 2 of those 6 games. And actually 3 if you count the Florida game. Let's call it 5 games. Let's call it 5 games instead of 6. Let's say it's 7-5. Because I'm going to put the Florida game on the other side. I think that's a game we're in a better place. We beat them 3 times in a row, 4 of the last 6. I think we're a better team, and I think we should go to the Swamp and win. So there's 5 games on this schedule that could take us to that next level. That next level, if we could win 40% of those games. 40%. That's all, guys. That's 2-3. So that means you got to find a way to win at Oxford, at the Grove, at Neyland Stadium, home against Auburn, or the unthinkable and beat Texas on the road or Georgia at home. Auburn at home is an absolute monster game that I think is a must-win. Then you could split Ole Miss and Tennessee on the road. If you could find a way to split those games, Coach, you're going to get this fan base excited. Because if you can take care of business of those 6 and take care of business in the Swamp and get 7 and then find a way to win those 2 games and be 9-3, I promise you the fan base is going to get behind you. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys listening. I just thought I would do a little bit of a rant. I love Coach Stoops. He has been great. He has taken Kentucky from the absolute bottom in 2012. We got stomped by Vandy. We were at the bottom. We were at 14. There was 14 teams then. We were at 14 of the SEC. And he has taken Kentucky to a respected 8, 9 place. But the next level is not top 2 or 3 in the SEC. It's not beating the Georgias consistently. That's not the next level. The next level is to be a 4, 5, or 6 team that's ranked top 20 year after year. That's the next level. All right. Follow us, GreenvilleSportsMedia.com. Follow us on College SportsCast on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or my Twitter. And I appreciate you guys listening in. And we will catch you next time doing our